Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Allison. I'm going to be conducting today's webinar, and I'm also a Hub advisor. So today we're going to be talking about bank accounts and debit cards and checking accounts and all of those things. So if this is just your introduction to financial literacy, I hope you find it very helpful. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so understanding bank accounts and debit cards. And if any of you have questions, feel free to type them in, and then I will answer them at the end. Okay, so opening an account. So many banks require you to be at least 18 years old, and you can go to the bank, or you can also make an online, or you can make an account online as well, although it's usually easier to just go to the bank. In order for you to open an account up, you're going to need cash or check to deposit. There's usually like a minimum amount of money that you need to have in order to open an account. 2 forms of ID, proof of address, and your social security number. If you don't have a social security number, and you're undocumented, you can still open an account. Should be no problem. Just make sure that you go in person and you talk to someone to make it for you. All right, so choosing a bank. So there's a bunch of banks out there, right? There's Chase, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Union Bank, and a bunch of credit unions. Those are just ones that I can think of at the top of my head. So it can be very hard to choose one because there's so many of them. But these are the things that you want to look for when you are choosing a bank. So easy to deposit and withdraw cash. Free student accounts. Most banks offer college students and high school students too free accounts up until they graduate. No monthly fees. Can you avoid ATM fees? So what that's referring to is if you are withdrawing money from an ATM that is not necessarily from your bank. So let's say if you bank with Chase and you try to withdraw from a Wells Fargo ATM, it's going to charge you a fee. And so you want to look for a bank that has a lot of ATMs, right? So they're very convenient to find. And then you also want to find a bank that has high interest rates. So you can compare interest rates at different banks, and you can also consider online banks too, because online banks usually have higher interest rates. This is in referral to savings accounts, by the way. So the higher your interest rate is on your savings account, the more money that you get for just having cash in your account. And so online banks are usually a really good alternative to a regular bank because they don't have to pay for like brick and mortar stores, so they can afford to have a higher interest rate. So those are really good options to look into. Okay, so bank or credit union. So a bank and credit union are essentially the same thing. They offer financial services to customers, but there are some key differences between the two. So again, both have the same type of account services and fees, but banks are profit-driven businesses. But they do have more locations and they are a lot more convenient. So that's something that you have to weigh out. Like you might not have the best interest rate for your savings account, but it is very easy to find an ATM because they're all over the place. And there's locations everywhere too. So if you need to talk to someone, you can very easily find a branch. So credit unions are not aiming to make a profit off of you. So the profits go to the clients. They have less locations. And then you have to find ATMs that you can go to because credit unions don't typically have as many ATMs around as bigger banks. But, again, that's something that you have to weigh out what matters most to you when you're looking for a bank. So if you are willing to maybe you don't withdraw cash that often, so you don't really care about having lots of ATMs around, you can go for a credit union. But if you do withdraw cash a lot, then you might want to go with a bank. It all depends on your situation and what you prefer. Okay, choosing an account. So there's 2 types of accounts, your checkings and your savings. So a checking account has money that you access frequently to pay for things online or with cash. It includes the cash the money that you have that's attached to your debit card and checks. Whereas a savings account is money that you access less often and that you put away for future expenses. So your checking account is normally where you would stash all of your cash. If you have a job, maybe you have direct deposit and you don't get checks, that's where all of your money would deposit to. When you swipe your debit card, it comes out of your checking account. Basically, that's where all of your tangible money is, right? Your savings account, not that it's not tangible money, but it's money that you are putting away or you're stashing away in hopes of saving for, a big purchase. Like, I don't know, maybe you want to go on vacation somewhere, or maybe if you're a little bit older, you might be saving for a house or something like that. So that's why you have savings accounts. And again, savings accounts earn interest too. So the more money that you have in it and the longer it stays in there, the more interest will be paid out to you. So the more money, the better. Okay, and then lastly for this slide, excuse me, they don't have to be at the same bank, and you can have both. So I personally have a checking account at a regular bank, but I have a savings account at an online bank because the interest is much higher using an online bank. So I'm making more money by having my money in an online bank. So they don't have to be at the same establishment. They can be at different banks, and that's totally fine. Okay, so tips for a savings account. So it's really, really, really important to have a savings account. I think especially as college students, or you're going to be a graduate soon. So the first thing that you want to do is create an emergency fund. And what that is, it's basically money to support yourself for 3+ months. So that includes everything from rent, utilities, which includes, your gas and electric, your water bill, garbage, your cell phone bill, your Wi-Fi, all of those things. And a good rule of thumb to stick to is you want to save 20% of your earnings. So if you have a job and you get a paycheck and you get paid every 2 weeks, then you want to be putting away at least 1/5 of that away. That way you can have money for emergencies. And an emergency would be like you lose your job, or you have to go to the hospital for something and your insurance doesn't necessarily cover it. So you want to make sure that you have an emergency fund so that you can use it at your leisure when something goes wrong. Okay, tips for checking accounts. So you can get free checks, which I know checks are a little bit obsolete now, but some places still use them, and you can use them to pay for your rent. I know some landlords are a little bit more old school and they don't have their residents paying online. They might just have them send them a check in the mail. Services, bills, all sorts of things you can use to pay for with checks. Avoid overdraft fees. So an overdraft fee is a fee that you are charged when you spend more money than what's in your account. So if you have like $15 in your account and then you pay for something that's $20, if your card doesn't get declined, then they're going to charge you an extra amount because you went below your balance. And that might be between like $30 to $40 or so. So you definitely want to avoid those. And then just in general, a good rule of thumb is to not spend more money than you actually have. So fees, banks can close your account. So again, the overdraft fees, and if you keep dipping into your account with charging more than you actually have, a bank does have the right to close your account. Yeah, so do not spend more than you have. All right. So debit cards, I talked a little bit about them earlier, but they are linked to your checking account. So whenever you swipe your debit card, you're going to need to enter a PIN number, which is like your password, and then it'll remove money from your checking account. They're the cards that you use when you want to withdraw cash from an ATM. There's typically a daily limit that's associated with that, usually $500. You can get cash back when making purchases, which is awesome. So if you go to like any, let's say you go to like a CVS or a Walgreens and you pay for something with your debit card, they'll often ask you if you want cash back. And so if you need cash, that's a really good way to get cash back, especially if there's no ATM in your area. You can do that. And then you avoid fees from using non-affiliated ATMs. So again, like what I was saying, you want to use ATMs that are with your bank. So if I bank with Chase, I only want to find Chase ATMs, right? Or if I bank with Bank of America, I'm only going to want to find ATMs that are Bank of America ATMs because Otherwise, I'm going to have to pay like $2 to $3 per transaction that I make. Okay, pre-college tips. So if you guys are not in college yet and you're in high school, you definitely don't want to be tempted by banks on college campuses during your first week. So during your first week of school, there's usually a lot of events that are happening for new students, or back to school events. And oftentimes there's going to be banks on campus who really want you to sign up for a credit card of theirs or checking account or something like that. And they'll usually try to entice you by offering some like free swag or something like that. So definitely don't be enticed by all of the free things that they're offering you. You want to make sure that you do your research before you sign up for an account. You want to open an account before school starts. That way you can hit the ground running. Like as soon as school starts, you need to buy, and you find yourself needing to buy books or paying for tuition or things like that, you can already have that all set up. So it's very easy for you to do. And then start saving and budget. So of course, when you are in college, you want to make sure that you're not spending more money than you have to, because we all know that college is very expensive. So definitely create a budget. Understand like what is your income, how is money flowing in for you, and then try to decide what is worth purchasing for you, or things that you might need to hold back on. Okay, so that is the end of the presentation. Are there any questions that people have? All right, let's see. Okay, so we have some questions. So what are some online banks? So a really good website that I recommend using is called NerdWallet, and it's basically a website that has a bunch of financial information on there. One online bank, the one that I personally use, is called Ally. It's ALLY. That's where I have my savings account. And yeah, so usually at a regular bank, if you have a savings account with them, the interest rate is like 0.01%, which is essentially nothing. Whereas if you have your money at a savings account online, they're usually like between 2 to 3%. So you can get a lot of money back just by having money in your account. And yeah, there's a lot of online banks. So like I said, the one that I use is called Ally, ALLY, but there are other ones too that you might want to look up, and they might also have better interest rates. Okay. Is there a penalty for taking money out of a savings account at any time? Like, does money have to stay there for a certain amount of time? That's a very good question. So I don't think that money has to stay there for a certain amount of time, but they might limit you to how many times you can take money out of your account, or you might get, there might be like a fee associated with it after you withdraw money after a certain amount of times. So just look out for that. And it'll say that all, like, before you sign up for an account, it'll give you all the details about like, how often you can withdraw money or what that process looks like. So just look out for that before you sign up for a savings account. Does our credibility of one card transfer to a different card account at the same bank and at a bank that may not be the same? I'm not totally sure what you're asking. I don't know if you're referring to credibility. Okay, so thank you for clarifying that. Okay, so credit, that's a whole other presentation that might take a while to explain. And I think we also already might have a webinar on that on YouTube. If not, then we might definitely have one in the future to teach you all about credit. But essentially, credit is like your financial reputation, right? So if you have a bunch of credit cards, and again, I'm not going to go into what credit cards are and all those things in this webinar, but if you have a credit card and you consistently make on-time payments and all of those things, then you're going to have a really good credit score. And so having a really good credit score will allow you to get a bunch of different credit cards, or it might be also having a good credit score will allow you to get a good interest loan if you're trying to buy a car or a house, all of those things. And it doesn't matter what bank you have. I hope that answers your question. Okay, so I'm not going to cover credit cards right now because that's going to take a long time. When is the right time to get one? I personally think that if you feel responsible enough, I would try to get one maybe I wouldn't say your freshman year, but maybe your second, third, or fourth year of college. Would be a good time to get a credit score, because then by the time that you graduate, you'll already have some credit history, and that'll set you up really well for finding an apartment, for buying a car, or any of those things, because your credit score is also affected by how long your credit history is. So starting early is really good. Okay, let's see. I don't know what happened. It closed the window. Oh, I'm sorry. How do you know if the online savings bank account is legit? I would honestly just Google reviews and see what people say about them. For me, I had heard from like a couple of different friends, and I read online before choosing an online bank, and I really suggest that you do the same, because there are a lot of scammers out there. But I would say most, if they have a very big customer base, then it's probably legit, but always just do your own research. After we graduate university, do we have to start paying the bank to have an account? Yes, but that fee will get waived if you have like a direct deposit coming in of a certain amount. So if you have a job and you have like direct deposits coming in, then you won't have to pay for it. But otherwise, there is a fee. But there are other ways to get that fee waived too. I'm starting my second year in college. Do you recommend getting a credit card anytime soon to start building credit? Okay, so I talked about this a little bit earlier. I honestly would try to evaluate whether you feel responsible enough to get a credit card. And for those of you who don't know what credit cards are, they're different from debit cards, because essentially when you swipe your credit card, the bank is giving you a small loan, and then you have to pay that loan off a certain day every single month. So you're technically spending money that you don't have, which is why a lot of people dig themselves into really deep holes when they have credit cards, because they don't know how to use them responsibly. So if you trust yourself to get a credit card, and you know that you're going to use it responsibly, and you know like all the rules around credit and all those things, then I think your second year would be a great time to get a credit card. Yeah. My only regret is that I got my first credit card like the end of my senior year, and I wish I'd gotten it earlier, which is why I urge all of you to get one like earlier in your college career. Okay, any other questions? And I know a lot of people asked about credit cards. And so if we don't have one on YouTube already, that's definitely something that we can cover in a different webinar too, because I know a lot of people are curious about that. Yeah, okay, so those are all the questions. I'm going to launch the post poll. I'm sorry, I should have done this earlier when everyone was asking questions, but make sure that you take the post poll. And I hope this was really helpful for all of you. Credit cards will definitely be on the agenda for a different day. But yeah, credit cards are a really great tool for you all to take advantage of, especially as college students, because it'll really set you up for having a good financial future once you graduate from college. All right. All right, cool. So most people seem to be getting the correct answers for the poll, which is great. And then we just have like 5 more people or so to take it. But it should still pop up once I leave the meeting. So thank you everyone for joining the webinar. You all asked really great questions. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact us on the Hub. You can post any questions on there, or you can also email us at hubsupport@studentsrisingabove.org. Yeah, with that, thanks everyone. Have a good rest of your day / weekend / week, not weekend yet, day / week, and I'll see you guys on the Hub. Bye.